If we killed 4,000 Palestinian children, you know what? It wasn't enough. Now, these are the horrendous words uttered by Stuart Seldovitz, screaming at a 24-year-old New York City halal food truck worker, Mohammed Hussein. That wasn't all he said, far from it. He repeatedly harassed and racially abused Hussein, who filmed it. Now, Seldovitz is not simply some random bigot who's just stalking the sidewalks of New York City screaming Bion. He worked as the deputy director and senior political officer at the US Department of State's Office of Israel and Palestinian Affairs from 1999 to 2003, and then at the National Security Council under Barack Obama. Now, this episode is deeply revealing for many reasons, but let's just listen to this, what word to use to describe him. Abhorrent man.
And to the Egyptian, the Mukhabarat wants your picture.
Okay, yalla, go.
Yeah? You know the Mukhabarat?
The
Mukhabarat.
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
I just speak English.
No?
Yeah, go, yalla.
Mukhabarat in Egypt will get your parents.
Go.
Does your father like his fingernails? They'll take them out one by one.
Yalla, روح منين? يلا, go.
Why should I go? Why should I go? Tell me why I should go. I'm standing here. I'm an American. I have free, it's a free country. It's not like Egypt. Smile for me. Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad did? Did you rape your daughter like Muhammad?
I speak English.
You only speak English?
No English, no.
You don't speak English?
Yes.
All right. Well, that just shows how ignorant you are. Because Muhammad was a rapist. It says in the Hadith, in your holy book.
Who Muhammad?
What?
Who Muhammad?
Muhammad, your prophet. You know who he is.
My prophet?
Yeah. He was a rapist. He raped Aisha. Does it say that in the Hadith or not? You know that?
I just speak English.
What?
No English.
You don't speak English? What do you speak? What do you speak? You speak Arabic? The language of the Quran? The Holy Quran? That some people use as a toilet? What do you think of that? People who use the Quran as a toilet. Does it bother you? Does it bother you? Tell me the truth.
I don't speak English.
You don't speak English? Ah, that's too bad. That's why you're selling food in a food cart. Because you're ignorant. But you should learn English. It'll help you.
Of course,
when they deport you back to Egypt and the Mukhabarat wants to interview you.
So he started there by boasting about how Mohammed Hussein's parents will be tortured by the Egyptian secret services, refuses to leave when asked by the vendor, quite rightly, the vendor he's racially harassing, boasted that he's entitled to keep harassing him because he's American and it's a free country, takes a picture of him while harassing him, that itself is a form of harassment, goes on to ask the vendor if he raped his daughter like the Prophet Muhammad, taunts him about people using the Quran as toilet paper, all the while with this hideous grin on his face, this hideous laugh, calls him ignorant, and that's therefore why he's working as a vendor and so on. Now, he just will not leave him alone.
There's nobody here. We're going to put big signs here that say this guy believes in Hamas.
Do you want to buy something?
No, I don't.
So he goes on to say he's supporting terrorism, that if we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, it wasn't enough.
But you're a terrorist. You support terrorism.
Listen, go. I'm not support something.
You do. You support terrorism.
I'm not some. Go. I'm
killing
just working here.
children. You're a terrible person.
You kill children, not me.
What?
Go.
My kids? What about my kids?
You kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, what I see
You
here?
know why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Go.
Now, he was identified because of these clips being shared on social media, and he's now being arrested for hate crime and stalking, second-degree aggravated harassment, stalking causing fear, and stalking at employment. Meanwhile, New Yorkers are showing their solidarity with this abused vendor by queuing up to buy chicken over rice, which is heartening to see. A white table was brought along for everyone to sit at and eat by a Jewish New Yorker. But let's just talk about Seldovitz and what he represents, because this goes far beyond this hideous individual. A man with clear racist, anti-Muslim and anti-Palestinian views had a significant influential role on official US policy towards Israel and Palestine under both Democratic and Republican presidents. His contempt for the lives of Palestinians is, yes, crude, vulgar, vile even, but it simply vocalises the true essence of US policy, which has never treated Palestinians as anything like equal human beings. Their rights disregarded, while Israeli brutality, the longest belligerent occupation of modern times, as for Gaza itself, the longest siege of modern times, the colonization, land theft through illegal settlements, the ethnic cleansing, the incarceration and the torture and the brutality that comes along with it, the apartheid as described by multiple human rights organizations, the slaughter of innocent civilians, all of that not only disregarded by the US under successive administrations, but sustained through vast supplies of weaponry, foreign aid and diplomatic support. Now, when he boasts about the Egyptian dictatorship torturing its opponents, this dictatorship, it must be noted, is a key ally of the United States. The US gives billions of pounds worth of arms to General El-Sisi's human rights abusing regime, as well as diplomatic support and all the other blessings of being a client dictatorship of the last remaining superpower on earth, a relationship designed and nurtured by officials like Seldovitz. Now, there is a point here about what we can describe and should describe as imperialism, how states project their power beyond their borders for their own selfish reasons, and how that's always been underpinned by racism. Racism is used to justify and rationalise that power. When the European colonial states carved up Africa amongst themselves, pseudoscientists and anthropologists were used to justify the idea of black people being inferior and thus deserving of subjugation, spurring on racism that lives on very much today and indeed defines so much of our society. The same goes with Islamophobia and indeed specifically anti-Palestinian racism. Now, what Seldovitz underlines is the continuity of US power, the machinery of its state apparatus in terms of both domestic and foreign policy, whoever happens to be occupying the White House at any given time. Now, over a decade ago, I wrote a piece for my former employer, The Independent, a column entitled, "Getting rid of George W. Bush wasn't enough, the US remains a bully." Now, this then became slightly surreal because it turned out I ended up being denounced on Fox News because of it. And this itself is extremely relevant. Take a listen and I'll explain why.
So in the British paper, The Independent, writer Owen Jones has a piece titled, "Getting Rid of George W. Bush Wasn't Enough. The U.S. Remains a Bully." You can smell the patchouli wafting from the pages. To Jones, it doesn't matter who's president. The issue is U.S. power. And he rejoices that, quote, "With the last remaining superpower at its weakest since World War II, there is an unmissable opening to argue for a more equal and just world order, restricting the ability of great powers to throw their weight around." In Teacher's Lounge speak, that's death to America. So the lesson: in a world where creeps hate our achievement, appeasement makes them hate you more. And this is where anti-exceptionalism leads us, to braying jackals like Jones, who really just reflects the same anti-Americanism found here among the typical occupier or the clowns at Soros-funded blogs. That's the scary part. You get the feeling Jones could have written an Obama stump speech back in 2007. But sensible folks must realize that a powerful America will always be the enemy of the left. And the only way for America to remain awesome is to assume our awesomeness and stop apologizing. Because America will only be embraced when it's defeated. And that embrace will not be warm. The last thing we can expect is to be shown the mercy or appreciation that the left insists we show our enemies. For libs, that's the true American exceptionalism. We are and always will be the best at being bad.
I have to say, I was kind of flattered at the time by being called a braying jackal, though I googled it and it turns out jackals don't bray. Not the only factual inaccuracy you'll find being churned out by Fox News. Anyway, a member of this panel accidentally goes on to make a good point.
You know what's funny about this? That the occupier-in-chief, a.k.a. the Nobel Peace Prize winner, is the guy who uses the most drones, has a kill list. It must just drive people like this crazy.
Well,
they don't know where to go with it.
That's what he said. That was the argument in the piece.
But I understand that. But
I like the way that another member of the panel had to go, duh, that's what he's saying. Not the brightest of the lot on Fox News. But you see, Obama did escalate the use of drones compared to George W. Bush, killing we don't know how many innocent civilians in countries like Pakistan, Somalia and Yemen. I should say that Trump went on to further escalate it himself, which I think very much goes against the narrative that many of his supporters have, that he somehow stood against the forever wars. Now, they used these drones because they wanted to protect their own soldiers and stop Americans from dying, American soldiers, and that meant instead allowing civilians in other countries to die instead. Obama is said to have bragged to aides, "Turns out I'm really good at killing people." Now, Obama once joked about using drones to kill the Jonas brothers if they went anywhere near his daughters. Listen to this.
The Jonas brothers are here. They're out there somewhere. Sasha and Malia are huge fans, but boys don't get any ideas. I have 2 words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming. You think I'm joking?
Gross. I mean, he must have known that drones killed innocent people. He might have found it regrettable, but he certainly knew it happened. How much contempt does it show for innocent Muslim lives taken in Pakistan, Somalia and Yemen to joke like that? So you see, this is the point, the clincher, I think. Selvitz is, yes, a disgusting little man. Listen to him. No question, but he's representative of something far greater than simply his odious little self. And it's about the dehumanization, the racism which underpins the US, as it has always underpinned great imperialist powers. And in this context, that means the racist contempt towards Palestinians. There isn't even the pretense that their lives matter as they suffer one of the great crimes of our time, all the blessings of the US and British government, and of course so much of the Western media. What Selvitz did is express in crude and vulgar terms the essence of what underpins Western foreign policy, as Palestinians, as we speak, are being killed by the thousand. Please like and subscribe. Do keep the show on the road on patreon.com/ownjones84. Share this video or however you're listening to this. Speak to you in a bit.